All right. Good morning, everybody. Quick update. David E. Taylor, you're a piece of shit, man. New tax ID number. We've talked about this for a little bit. A lot of us have talked about, hey, is David possibly rebranding his name? And yes, he has rebranded his name. Marvels in America, World Healing. The employee identification number is 85-076-6107. This is the fourth time David has refiled for new tax ID numbers with his fucking cult. First one was Resurrection Media Ministries. Then he went to Joshua Media Ministries. He went to Kingdom of God Global Church. Now he's this Marvels in America, World Healing. What the fuck? There are determination letters, and it says if you don't file, if they fail to file, which David has done with all these tax ID numbers, right, guys? He's failed to file taxes every 3 years, so he's losing his tax exempt status. Meanwhile, the IRS isn't auditing him or investigating him, and he's just fucking burning up these employee ID numbers. It just shows, guys. This is just another. He's no doubt. And the other thing is, okay, the 1302 Wild Horse Meadows Drive is in escrow. It's supposed to close within the next few weeks. But what I think, guys, is it's been sold to somebody else in the cult. It's going to close the end of the month. The house, the Wild Horse Meadows. So I think they sold it to somebody else in the cult, or there's some kind of shady ass fucking deal going on there with that house. Because, I mean, why would they put it on a fucking IRS letter if they were just gonna sell the house in the first fucking place? My big question, right? This just proves, David and Michelle and your whole little cult, that you guys are dodging the IRS big time. Big time. You probably bankrupted Joshua Media Ministries and Kingdom of God Global Church. That's why you had to get another tax ID number. How the fuck? Guys, this is where the regulation needs to be fucking put in check, man. David's just burning up these tax ID numbers, laundering money, and the IRS doesn't see it. So, David, another report's going to go out today with your new tax ID number on it, okay? Just to let you know. What you're doing is bullshit, David. I can't believe you've gotten away this long. And the feds, the IRS, the government doesn't say a goddamn thing about it. But yet, they'll fucking come after me for misfiling my fucking taxes for 1 fucking year. Yet these fucking... I'm a little triggered, guys. This is bullshit. 4 fucking tax ID numbers this guy's gone through, and the IRS doesn't say shit about it. They're like, oh, there's nothing going on here. Oh, let's let him launder money. Let me fucking launder some money, man. Let me launder some money. Let me have $500,000 hiding in my fucking walls when a plumber comes and fucking tears apart my shit and see what happens. So, David, this just shows, man. This shows. And the thing is this, the World Marvels in America World Healing is incorporated. So, David is a fucking incorporated church? David, how is a church incorporated? So you're running your church as a business now is what you're running it as. You're running as a full-blown fucking money laundering operation. And this just shows, David, you had to get another tax ID number. You had to get another tax ID number because you can't fucking file anything. And you haven't. And the government doesn't say shit about this. Not just David, but all across the board, guys. All across the board. And this is just going to be kind of a short today. How do people get away with this kind of thing? What if I was doing this kind of thing? What if you were doing this kind of thing? The average, hardworking, tax-paying citizen, what would happen to you? Leave your comments below. What do you guys think? Or anybody for that matter. Any of the channel followers for that matter. What would happen to you, ordinary, hardworking, middle-class, tax-paying, hardworking American, was doing some shit like David was, out in the fucking open? What would happen? Meanwhile, we got to sit here and front the bill for all these big money laundering churches. It doesn't make sense. It's totally counterproductive. You know, these churches need to be taxed. These churches need to be taxed. They need to have their books open, all of them. So David, here's to you bankrupting another tax ID number, because that's no doubt what you're doing with JMMI and KOGGC. So here's to you, David. More fraud reports. I'm going to fill them out once this video is done. And I'm going to mail them out today, David, with your new tax ID number on it. Everything. This is the kind of thing that makes me sick. I don't know if it's just because I give a shit too much, or if it's just the fact that I don't like how the system works against the little people, and it works for the fucking scam artists. That's my question. That's the question of the day. How the system works against us. Not even the question of the day, but how does David get away with laundering money through his cult? For years, since 2017, he's had 3 tax ID numbers, JMMI, KOGGC, and now this one. That's some fucking shady shit, David. 3 EINs in just as many years, 4 years, 5 years. That's ridiculous, David. You're out of control. I posted all your information, the new tax ID number, but again, the 1302 Wild Horse Meadows house is going to close escrow at the end of the month, but I still think somebody from the cult bought it. Like, they did like some kind of shady ass deal within the cult. So, you guys, this is why I do this. This is why I do what I do here. Is because there's a crack in the system. Nobody else is saying shit about it, and we're the only ones here that are really speaking up about it. You know? These people need to be held accountable. All of them. David, Michelle, your whole cult. All of you guys need to be held accountable. I ran out of the 13909, so I'm going to have to print some more of those out. All I have were the 3949s, David, so you're in luck today. So, just so you guys know, I will be sending these out. Stamps. I got the reports here, stamped envelope. I got the labels right here that I'm going to put on when I'm done filling this out. And, David, I'm going to continue on reporting you. And continue reporting you. And you guys, the channel is going to stay the same. This channel is going to be dedicated to exposing cults. That's just what it's going to be dedicated to. We might go off tangent sometimes and talk about some other things, but for the most part, it's going to be dedicated to exposing cult leaders. And there's no discrimination here. I don't care if man, woman, black, white. I don't give a fuck what they are. I don't care. If it is a destructive cult, you're on the chopping block. If you're out manipulating, hurting people mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and you're using religion and you're using fucking cult tactics to manipulate people, you're on the fucking block, man. This is the face. I know there's other people out there doing it, going about a different route, maybe approach a different way, but there's things out there that people don't talk about that I think need to be talked about with these cults. One of them is the money laundering. Blatantly. So, David, you've changed tax ID number 3 times since 2017, man. That's pretty shitty. That just tells me that you have no financial responsibility whatsoever, man. So, with that being said, guys, let me know what you're thinking below, man. Let me know what you guys think. Put some theories out there, you know. Why change names so many times?